check, check. Check, 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 check. What's up, guys? Take a look at this beautiful arrangement of adventure motorcycles behind me here. Now, these bikes represent a really good collection of some of the best adventure touring tires that you can put on your adventure bike. We've got full knobbies to the 50/50 and then down to even the 80/20. So let's come on really quick and I'm gonna take you on a walkthrough of some of the feedback that I have after having run all of these tires out there in the wild. Let's get to it. So this lineup of adventure bikes just happened to be here for service, and I walked out today and I saw the arrangement of tires and was like, dude, we've got to take an opportunity to stop by each of these bikes and kind of discuss the features, benefits, and kind of my ride impressions or feelings that I've had while on each of these specific tires. My favorite tire out of all of the tires that are here is going to be the Motoz Rally tire. It's R-A-L-L-Z. This KTM 890 Adventure R has it on. It's got about 4,000 miles on its tires. Now, this guy's name is Kevin that owns this bike, and he took a trip up to Sturgis. He then did Colorado BDR. He's been all over the place on this thing. But anyway, this is what the tire looks like after 4,000 miles. Huge benefit when it comes to the Motoz tires is the amount of mileage that you can get out of them and the amount of traction that you can get. Now, Kevin and I had a conversation earlier today when he dropped his bike off, and he's like, dude, I can't believe what you said was actually true, and that was the fact that you put these Motoz Rally tires on and you will never outride them. I can't say the same thing about the Continental TCK80, which, the TCK80 was out here earlier, but it is not anymore. Dang it, where'd it go? Oh, it's over here. Let's go take a quick look. So the Continental TCK80 is a phenomenal tire. It comes on these bikes from the factory, and it is one of the premier front tires that people run. They just love that front tire, can't get enough of it. And then let's take a look back here. This is the rear Continental TCK80. Now, the thing about the Continental TCK80 is it's a really soft rubber and it sticks to the ground really, really well. It's got a traditional square block on it. So it's nothing crazy. There's some technology that has been built into adventure tires more recently on some of those other bikes over there that I'll talk about here in just a minute. But TCK80, as far as the tread depth goes, it's kind of lacking. You see here, these knobs or nubs are still here on the tire. This is as deep as the tread gets, even when brand new. This bike only has like 1,500 miles on it. You can see that we're probably halfway down as far as the tread depth goes, as far as the center block, as compared to what we have here on the side. So anyway, TCK80, riding this tire super hard on twisty pavement. I have been able to get the back end of this tire to back in quite substantially if traction control is turned off. So yes, it's a soft tire. Yes, it sticks well, but I can definitely outride this tire when out there in the wild. But anyway, the TCK80, it's a phenomenal tire. It really is the go-to. It was the only tire out there for a really, really long time. So while this Continental TCK80 was the first tire out there that fit any of these big, large adventure motorcycles, the downfall now that we have more technology out there is the fact that although this does have an alternating tread block where we have a center block and then a split and then a center and then a split, we do have a large straight void here in between the two that doesn't vary. So when you get into side terrain and things of that nature, the tires can tend to slip sideways a little bit. That's something that has been fixed on some of the more modern tires. But now there's other options out there that are less expensive or that give you way more miles than you're able to get on some of the other tires out there. So the other tire that's more of a modern tire is this tire right here. This is the Anarchy Wild tire on that KLR 650. When he brings that back around, I'll give you the discussion about that Anarchy Wild. It really is one of the best performing, close to full knobby tires that you can put on your motorcycle. Now, I just talked about that bar that goes all the way across on that TCK80. Here on the adventure tire, if you were on a side hill, you'd be hitting this leading edge and this leading edge, or coming the other way, you'd have a leading edge here, 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 and here. So that variation in that pattern, I think, really helps this tire stick to the ground better and get better traction in certain situations. We then have the Motoz E07 and E07 Plus. This here is the E07 Plus. This is a phenomenal tire for super longevity as well. You can see that here in the center, the gaps are pretty small, and then the gaps get larger as you go out towards the edge of the tire. Motoz did that so you get great longevity out of the tire. But I think that the lack of straight across traction definitely limits this tire as far as the amount of super deep off-road traction you can get. When I ran this tire out in the sand on the 1190, because the pattern of this tire kind of comes out to the side, I was getting, as soon as I cracked that throttle really hard, the back end would just pitch in to whichever direction the bike happened to be leaning at the moment. I didn't like that factor. The other thing you're gonna see is a very flat wear pattern. So this particular tire, you can see from here to here, it's really, really flat, which makes the turn-in on this tire a little bit more difficult than some of the other tires out there, even with the same number of miles. Now, I have no idea how many miles are on this Motoz E07 Plus, but it looks like this guy has gotten his money's worth out of this particular tire. Now we talk about the durability, right? So you have the Adventure tire here, which is more of a 60-40, so 60% off-road, 40% on-road. Now this is one of the game changer tires I was talking about earlier with technology. This tire is probably about half worn right now, and it's nuts. You take a look over here to the side, you see the amount of depth that we have in the tread right here versus the amount of depth that we have here in the center. It's about halfway worn, but right now, even though this tire is halfway worn, it still has more rubber on it than we saw on that TKC80. The amount of rubber that Motoz puts on their tires, it's absolutely crazy as far as that tread depth goes. Again, this is the Adventure tire. This is probably a 6,000 to 8,000 mile tire, is what we're getting as far as the average mileage that guys are getting on that particular tire. TKC80, probably 2,000 miles at the most. Now this Motoz E07 Plus, circling back to this guy here, people are getting 10, 12, even more than that, 1,000 miles out of these tires. Super crazy as far as longevity goes. Now a tire that's more in the 80-20 category, I would say, is this guy right here. This is the Shinko E0705. So this tire is an 80-20. It's not as dirty as those others over there. It has a very similar tread pattern to the Dunlop Trail Max Michelin tire, which is coined as a 50-50 tire. It is a little bit dirtier than this one here. Yeah, it's significantly more expensive, and the gaps are slightly larger. I think they did a good job at that tire. I've coined it a 50-50 tire and have proven that. I've ridden in the snow, I've ridden in all kinds of crazy places, that Trail Max Michelin tire. But yeah, wow. This E07 from Shinko, when I had it out and did my testing, I was really surprised at how well this tire actually hooked up and went. It's one of the cheapest tires out there, and it does give you great performance, both on the street and in the dirt. Shinko did a great job. Really impressive. So this here is that KLR 650 that rolled past us just a little bit earlier. This bike here is running the Michelin Anarchy Wild tires. Now this tire is a huge improvement over some of the others out there, and Michelin's done a lot of homework when they were creating this tire. So what you're gonna see here is lots of different things. The first is gonna be the fact that we have actual siping in the front and the sides of each of these lugs. Now the reason they did that is they say that keeps the lug cooler or more separated from the actual base of the tire, and that allows it to cool down quicker. It allows it to get better traction, and it allows it to get better longevity. Huge kudos to Michelin for working that angle. Now here you can see we have a loose lug here on the side, and then the next one coming down is going to be a lug that's tied together. That means that every other lug, you're going to have a larger block there at the base, giving you more stability when you're in the corners. Huge benefit.
Great.
The other thing they did was they went ahead and angled these down so that it provides more of a scoop or paddle type effect. That's going to give you a little bit more leading edge. It's going to give you some more benefit when running in the soft and slippery stuff. Let's see what else we have going on here. And coming up here to the front tire, this is one of the more knobbier front tires that you can put on the machine. You're going to notice, again, same type of effect that we had in the back there. We have the angles or scoops coming down here. We've got every other block that's tied together. Again, if you're looking for a great tire for soft sand and for mud and things of that nature, this front tire on the Anarchy Wild is one of my favorites, actually.
Very good.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Again, this TCK80 is the same exact size as that tire that you just saw over there on that KLR. And you can see here that these blocks are much larger than that of the Anarchy Wild. They're closer together, and that makes this perform great on pavement, but in the dirt, that Anarchy Wild definitely has a leg up. And again, moving on over here to the Rally tire, this is going to be my favorite tire just because it has great stickiness, sticks to the ground. I can ride this thing as hard as I possibly can, and just I can't outride the tire. And then as it sits right now, this is about 4,000 miles of wear, and you can see it still has a little bit of life left. This is probably what a TKC80 would look like at 1/2 to 3/4 of its life. So yeah. But if you notice here, the tread profile of this has stayed round, and that's the difference for this tire from the Motoz E07, E07 Plus, and especially the Heidenau K60 Scout. Those tires get flat really fast, and this tire doesn't do that. I don't know what they've done in order to keep that profile built in here as the tire wears, but they've done a really, really good job at making that happen. And there you have it, guys. Just a quick little observation of what I've felt while running each of these tires that are out here on customers' bikes here at Moto City. Now, really what I'm pointing out here is that all these tires are great. They all do a fantastic job, but they all do something a little bit different or better than the other tire that they're pitted up against. So any of these tires I would put on my motorcycle and take a trip, but depending on that trip, I would actually pick one tire over the other. If you have any questions about any of the tires I talked about today, please leave a comment down below. If you're running any of these tires, I'd love to hear a comment from you as well, because I want to know what you like or dislike about that specific tire. Anyway, I'm Bradshaw. Thank you guys for watching. Until next time, take care and ride safe out there.